blank page, a single sheet of white paper. This is one of the most unusual and important conceptual developments in history. This is not a scrap of paper. It's got formal limits. This one's 8.5 by 11 inches. The size is unimportant. This is not just a piece of paper. This is a blank page. Now, the piece of paper is great in its own way. It does a vast number of things. It becomes a vast number of things, from shim for an uneven table leg to an origami bird. But the blank page is of another higher conceptual order. Nothing like this exists in nature. Nature hums along, passing information from generation to generation in what seems like an infinite variety of ways until it gets to the blank page. This surface intentionally stripped of almost all information. This is a big idea. This empty page with no history. This is the beginning of the rest of time. This is an invitation. This is an invitation to dance, an invitation to end this relentless, forced march of reaction, of habitual reaction, personality, and take a deep breath, erase the slate for a moment, and look at the world with fresh eyes. In 1983, the blank page changed my life. It was a low point. My girlfriend had dumped me, and I was broke. So in order to track this unhappy moment so that I might learn more about it, I decided to buy a book of blank pages. They call it a journal. I was in Granada, Spain when I first opened the book. I closed the book that day without writing a word. But the next day I opened the book again, and there was this big open field of a page, seeming to say to me, "I've been expecting you. Are you ready to begin?" And I said, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't have anything to say. I don't trust anything I feel. I don't want to feel anything, in fact. Nothing in my life makes sense. And the blank page said, "Good, that's a great place to begin." And I said, "How do we start?" And it said, "Well, let's see, where are you seated?" I said, "Let's start there. Describe what's around you." Now, don't worry what it means. Don't try to make it do anything for you. Just say what it is, and then we'll see where that leaves us. Let's start with the salt and pepper shakers on the table. How far apart are they? Are they full? Are they half empty? Now the coffee cup, its shape and size. Now let's move out to the table. How large is the table? Where is it situated in the room? How many tables are there in this cafe? Describe the people at the other tables. What are they wearing? I was absorbed. I was no longer thinking of myself. As I expanded my description, I had to resort to metaphor. He seems, or she appears to be, I was speculating. He seems sad, she seems like she's waiting. The wider the scope of my world, the less useful what I felt about it became. I could see I was in this forest of metaphor and speculation. I could see that the truth of my life was in my engagement with this process of seeing and interpreting. So I turned the page and continued. And I really haven't stopped since then. The open page still talks to me, this blank page, this open field, always promising that same open field, always promising that opportunity to see more clearly how I construct the world. Refresh the character of my witness. I like this phrase, the character of my witness. It implies a higher witness that's examining mine. What is the character of our witness? I could say, what is the nature of my interpretation of events. But the term nature seems to suggest that I can't do anything about it, that there is this nature which compels me to look at the world with certain prejudices. But here is this blank page, this completely unnatural thing, and here I am with a pen in my hand and time to think, what is the character of my witness? When do I start to lie about the world, claim to know more than I know or can know about it? When do I start believing these lies are truths? What is the character of my witness? And how can I improve the character of my witness? See better. We, of course, are not blank pages. Well, we start out clear enough. I mean, look at the body of an infant. The posture is perfect, the voice perfectly produced, the sounds penetratingly loud when needed, and wildly expressive at any time. Joy in the voice and body of an infant is of the purest virtue. Then the world starts making its marks on us, and we start believing these marks are who we are, and pretty soon this body, the record of where we've been, what we've done, what we've seen, is a page glutted with marks scribbled on other marks, nothing ever erased, drawings on top of drawings, until this page is very confused. We call this confused page our egos. And then we spend much time and anguish frantically scribbling, trying to correct, rewrite, or worse, trying to convince the rest of the world that their page should be just as scribbled as ours, as if in making everyone else crazy, we'll look more sane. Now, through some sort of laborious psychoanalysis, perhaps, one can retrace much of this scribbling. But that process is long, arduous, and expensive. So most of us choose to just live with this tangled mess, making our peace with whatever personality we've made of it. Or worse, making a god of that personality. God damn you if your scribbled page doesn't look just like mine, or that other kind of wonderful tactical evasion of our communal responsibility. That's just who I am. But the blank page is under there somewhere. It's just under there somewhere. Well, let's call it the original open field. One night, when I couldn't sleep, I decided to just get up and move around. My brain just wouldn't quit. And I was completely bored by what I was thinking, completely unconvinced by any of the plans I was making, unimpressed by my insights and opinions. All of it was suspect. So while my mind nattered on, I decided to do an inventory of all the feelings in my, all the sensations in my body. I started moving all my parts, just feeling where the tensions were, what was strong, what was weak, what was graceful, what was clumsy. I started kind of dancing. And I do this often now. I'm learning about the marks that I've made on this page and how they affect my state of mind. I can't call it Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga, so I call it Rin Chi, the calm, thorough examination of my physical page in hopes that I might refresh it, erase some of the less enjoyable marks, clear a space for reimagining what might be. We are not reliable witnesses. That has to be acknowledged. Any objective analysis of human character has to agree with this. We think this ego, this scribbled record of our experience gives us some sort of wisdom, when in fact most of the time this scribbled page just confuses us. We are inclined, given this complicated page of existential marks, to draw false conclusions, or worse, to start with conclusions and skew the data so they confirm what we've already decided is true. This ends, at best, in a kind of benign insanity, at worst, in violence and mayhem. And it all starts with the assumption that you are a credible witness, that your testimony about yourself and the world is trustworthy. You aren't, and it isn't. Step away, get yourself a blank page, and try to describe what you see. And you will be surprised to find how quickly you begin to understand what's behind all the nonsense, how fanciful our stories are, how little like truth they are, how they are more like art. And if you take out the blank page enough, you become a gifted witness. And maybe one day, you start dancing in the middle of the night, and you find that opinion and obsession have been replaced by clarity and joy. Thank you.